What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the No Continues Gaming channel. I am your host, Edge Master X, coming at y'all with another deck profile on Lyrillusc. Before we get into it though, I just wanted to let you guys know that we do have a video dueling community. So if you do like to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, you want a remote duel, as they call it now, then please let me know, because we've got a very big community on Facebook Messenger and on Discord. So we are definitely ready to keep it rocking and rolling. In our video duel community, the team that I started back in 2018 was Team Kingdom Over Heaven. We actually even have our custom playmats. It's kind of backwards, I know, but it basically says Team Kingdom Over Heaven, and it just looks all fancy, and it's got the red eyes on it. So we've got custom playmats that we've made, and I have like so many, but this is just one of them, and I actually gave this away for one of our tournament winners a while ago. So if you're interested, please let me know. If you like the content that I show on this channel, please definitely drop a like, smash that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and stay tuned for future content. And with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into the profile. So if my camera works with me, all right, there we go. I'm gonna lower this just a little bit more. All right, so Lyrillusc is actually a very interesting deck. I've been playing it for a very long time. I've got a pretty good insight on it, and I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys some of the card ratios. So the first things I like to show is your starter cards. So the best starter in the deck is definitely with 100% going to be Lyrillusc, a turquoise warbler. Basically what this card is going to do for you is, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this dude from your hand, or female from your whatever, from your hand, and then it special summons a monster from your hand or graveyard. This card is completely cracked, guys. So there's instances where you can summon it using a card that I'll show you later, and you're basically getting her effect off. Even if you do control monsters, you'll be able to summon that monster from your hand or grave. So another fun fact is she doesn't target. And this card by itself, you know, obviously the deck is a deck that works with the other cards to get to different parts of your combo, but this card can pretty much set up your OTKs very nicely. So we got 3 copies of Turquoise Warbler. The next cards are definitely going to be your extenders, but this is probably the next starter / extender in the deck. It can serve both purposes. It's going to be Barrel Canary. So the reason why you're going to play 3 Barrel Canary and 3 Turquoise Warbler is essentially they can get your combo started, or they can just help you get from one part of your combo to the next. Basically, Barrel Canary can special summon a Lyrillusc monster from your graveyard, and you're locked into XYZ monsters for the rest of the turn. But that generally doesn't matter, because once you get her effect off, you'll be able to special summon just really anything. So you can bring back your Turquoise Warbler, and then, like I was talking about before, you'll be able to get your Turquoise Warbler's effect. But there's going to be other instances that we're going to talk about as well as we continue forward. But if this card is used as XYZ material, she also gives the monster she's attached to 200 points of attack, which is very important for OTKs we're going to talk about. The next major card in the deck is going to be 3 copies of Sapphire Swallow. Sapphire Swallow is one of those cards where, as you're building your board, when you see this card, you're going to just have so much value out of it. It's cool to open, but it's not as strong. Sometimes it just really depends on what you already have in your hand, but generally you want to search this card out. But when she's in your hand while you have a Wing Beast monster on the field, you can special summon her from your hand, and then you can special summon another level 1 Wing Beast from your hand, and it is not lock you into just Lyrillusc. So you can special summon a couple other monsters that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But if this card is used as an XYZ material, she can target another Lyrillusc monster in your graveyard and attach that monster to the XYZ monster on your field as Xyz material. And then we're playing 3 copies of Cobalt Sparrow and 3 copies of Celestine Wagtail. These cards, this one adds a winged beast monster from your deck to your hand that's going to be level 1. And then when it's used as XYZ material, your opponent cannot target the XYZ monster you control with card effects. And then Celestine Wagtail, when it's special summoned, it adds spells and traps that are Lyrillusc based. And then you can use her graveyard effect to attach herself to a winged beast XYZ monster on your side of the field. Something that needs to be said about these is generally, it's okay to usually open this one because this one can lead to that one, and that one can't. This one can lead to this one, but you generally are wanting to use this to search this and then special summon this after and later during your combo. Just because when you get her effect off, you're usually searching one of your power spells. But that's your Lyrillusc lineup. You're pretty much maxing out on all of the names. There are other good tech cards like Slower Swallow, and there's another very powerful one as well that I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I don't play those cards, mainly because I feel like with the way the deck runs, they're just not needed, and I'm playing a few other cards in their place. So for our Tri-Brigade cards, we are playing one copy of Kit for the combo, one copy of Fractal for the combo as well, and 2 copies of Nerval. In this deck, I was playing one copy of Fractal, but I don't really feel like I was getting as much value off of it as I wanted, so I just cut it out of the deck completely. Nerval, you definitely want to play at least 2. You could even argue playing 3 copies of this card, but this guy is insane because you can search it, and he's a level 1 wing beast, so you get a lot of value off of him just being able to be summoned and then going off on some of your other and later combos. But basically what your Tri-Brigades are going to be doing is they're going to be helping you get your combos started and extended. Fractal is good because you can send any one of your names to grave, and you don't just have to send your Tri-Brigade cards. So names being like your Lyrillusc monsters, of course. So that's what he's going to get for you. Kit is just in here so that you can send a Nerval generally. So that way, when Nerval goes to grave, he will search for one of your other names. So at this point, this is where you could get Fractal or you could get Kit if you needed them. If I was playing Karass, you could search for Karass also. But again, I'm just not playing him. I don't really feel like he's necessary for the deck. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Alpha Master of Beasts. This deck, it's very good going first, but you're going second. Sometimes just having this card just cracks boards. Legitimately, if they've got like a Dragoon on field, you can literally just drop this guy, and in certain cases, you can just swing into the Dragoon, or you can go special summon Alpha, activate effect, and your opponent just has to negate it, which is essentially all you're trying to get them to do. So that's going to be your main monsters for hand traps on 2 copies of Ash Blossom, and then 1 copy of the searchable DD Crow. So that's your monsters in the deck. And then for spells, we're going to start with your Lyrillusc spells. 1 copy of Lyrillusc Bird Strike. This card just came out in Brothers of Legend. If you don't have this card, definitely at least run 1 copy, because when you activate it, it just turns all monsters on your opponent's board off. So if you need to search it, you can, and then you can just play it, turn your opponent's board off, and then usually you can go for game. We're playing 3 copies of Lyrillusc Bird Call. This is the Rota for the deck, and then it can special summon a monster from your hand. So usually what you're doing with it is you're searching for your Turquoise Warbler, or sometimes you're searching for your Barrel Canary, or sometimes you're just searching for one of your other names that you just kind of need at the time. But if you can special summon your Turquoise Warbler from your hand off of this card, special summon and not search, then you're just going to get so much crazy value, because you can't special summon a monster that you search with this card, but when you special summon one of your other names with it, and that name has an ability when it's special summoned, that's when you're just going to see how the OTKs can just roll in with this. So we got, those are your main Lyrillusc spells. You got one more. We got 1 copy of Burnt Sanctuary. What this card's going to do is, if you control 2 Bird XYZ monsters, then you can draw 1 card as long as one of them has at least 3 materials, and then you can target 2 Bird XYZs on the field, and then you can take the XYZ monster, one of the XYZ monsters and its materials, and attach it to the other bird XYZ. I'm saying bird, but wing beast. You guys get the idea, right? So there you go with that. We're on, for consistency, 2 copies of Where Art Thou. What this does is if you control a level 1, you can search for any level 1 monster in your deck. And then if you don't summon it, though, you take 2,000 points of damage. So just be careful of that, playing that in time. 1 copy of Called by the Grave and 1 copy of TTT. So this is kind of an awkward ratio because a lot of people have asked me, why do you only want 1 TTT and 1 Called by the Grave? So this deck, you can play going first and going second. So really you want to side the other TTs because I'm already playing Alpha Master of Beasts. I'm already playing 1 copy of Called by the Grave. So I don't want to oversaturate the deck with going second cards if that's not the full intention. I'm also already running hand traps. So I feel like 1 TTT in the main is enough. If you do feel like in your locals or the people you're playing that you need to play more TT, definitely by all means max out on it if you have to. So that's all of my spells. 4 traps. We got a pretty good lineup. We got 2 copies of Imperm, or Infip as some people call it. So what you're doing with this is you play it to help crack your opponent's board going second, and then going first, of course, you can negate your opponent's main monsters. You've got 2 copies of Ick Attack. This card is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. When you activate it, you contribute a Wing Beast monster, and then you can pop 2 cards on the field. The great thing about this card is the monster can be face down, and you can still use it. That's just how the ruling is for it. So it's a very good card. I don't know why people aren't playing it. It's a free pop too, and sometimes it's all you need to, slow a game down to where it's in simplified game state. 2 copies of Tri Brigade Revolt. This card is just crazy. It just ends games, bro. This card, you're using this generally to summon your Charade, the Ominous Omen. But you can use it to go into your other Tri Brigade Link monsters, which we'll get into. And 2 copies of Harpy's Featherstorm. Not much needs to really be said about this card. Basically, what it's going to do is if you have a Wing Beast monster in your field, you negate all of your opponent's monster effects for that turn, period. So they can't really do anything of relevance or importance. So it does need a Wing Beast monster, by the way. So yeah. So you've got this for your Harpy Conductor play, which can be done. So that's your main deck. Main deck is 42 cards. So if you haven't tried this list, I definitely recommend you give it a shot before you knock it. A lot of these cards have great synergy, and Lyrillusc is one of those great decks that can OTK out of nowhere with multiple different strategies. So now we're going to the extra deck. We're going to start with our XYZ monsters. So we're playing 3 copies of Recital Starling. In short, what this card does is you target a monster on summon, and what you're doing when you target that monster is it gains attack equal to the XYZ material that this card has. So you're using this sometimes to boost your opponent's monsters up. And you guys are like, well, why would you do that? Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but also what it does is when you detach a material, it searches for any level 1 Wing Beast. No, I'm sorry, not Wing Beast. It just searches for any level 1 Wing Beast. I apologize, guys. Also, its final effect is any battle damage you take, your opponent also takes as well. So you definitely want to run 3 copies of that. Next, we're going to be playing 1 copy of Assemblu Robin. What this card does is completely just cracked. This card was... The deck didn't need it, but it definitely gave it an additional strategy. So it takes any number of level 1 monsters on your side of the field, at least 2 though. And then what's going to happen is anytime your opponent special summons a monster, inherent summon by the way, you can return that monster back to the hand. And the great thing about this card is it's not once per turn. So if your opponent special summons like Galaxy Soldier, okay, bounce. They go, okay, Link summon into Link Karibo, okay, bounce. They go, Link summon or Synchro summon into Sword Soul Shisha, okay, cool, great, bounce. So this card's awesome, and then when it gets destroyed, you can add one of your monsters from your graveyard to your hand. It's a Lyrillusc. I'm playing 1 copy of Promenade Thrush. You don't have to play this, but this bounces your opponent's spells and traps in short. And then if another monster you control battles, you can attach any number of materials, and then that monster you control gains 300 for each material attached until the end of the turn. So, you know, this card, you're not really using the battle phase effect too much. If you summon this, you're really just clearing back row. You don't have to play this though, and we're going to talk about some other options. One copy of the OTK card, Assembled Nightingale. This card is very degenerate. Literally, you can attack her opponent for all the XYZ materials that it has, and then if you detach a material from her, your monsters can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, the Lyrillusc, of course, and any battle damage you take is nullified. That's it for the Lyrillusc XYZs. The other XYZs that you're playing are one copy of F-Zero and then the degenerate Utopic Draco feature. Very easy to summon in this deck. It's just insane how to bring those guys out. Draco feature is a negate. One copy of AA Arsenal Zeus. You're playing him for grind games. He has a lot of value in this deck because you can get a whole bunch of materials underneath him, and he wipes your opponent's entire board. And then going on to your Link monsters, we are playing one copy of Charade, the Ominous Omen. You're usually summoning him off of Revolt to banish your opponent's shit. One copy of Harpy Conductor. You're only playing this because you are playing in the main deck Harpy Featherstorm, but you could honestly cut this card and talk about some of the other options that I'm going to get into later. One copy of the Doom Eagle, Heraus Valgar. Essentially what he's here for is helping to OTK, and he's a winged beast monster, but basically you're using him to shuffle your opponent's monsters in their graveyard back into the deck, and then if they have no monsters in their graveyard, he gains double the attack, so he can be 4,800 going into battle phase. One copy of the Samorg Link. This card is just degenerate also. It special summons a monster from your deck that's a winged beast, and it does it at the end of every turn. So your opponent's turn and your turn. Another copy of Charade. We already explained what he does. One copy of Farigit, the Barren Blossom. She special summons monsters from your hand, and then when she special summons monsters from your hand on your turn, what's going to happen is it helps just get you from one part of your combo to the next. And also when you're grinding, sometimes when you're using her ability, you can special summon a monster from your hand, and then if you have Charade on the field, he'll banish a card. So another thing is that when she leaves the field, you're allowed to draw and then put one card back into the deck. And then some different options for your last slot. You can play Bear Brum. Bear Brum is cool because she can add the Revolt from your deck to your hand if she leaves the field. And then she can get, by banishing 2 cards in your hand, she can get one of your banished monsters from the banish zone to your hand. So you got her, and she just comes in a lot of handy. And she actually just discards, not banish. And then you also have the one copy of Access Code Talker. What Access Code Talker does is, a lot of people wonder, how do you bring him out with the Tri-Brigade? They kind of lock you in. But the Tri-Brigade only lock you into just using Beast, Warrior, and Winged Beast monsters. It doesn't stop you from summoning non-Winged Beast or Beast Warrior monsters. So you could definitely just play your Access Code Talker, and you can summon him just fine in the deck. But that's depending on what you want your final slot to be. You can play Bear Brum or Access Code. You could even play Bull Sword, or you can play the, if you wanted to go there, you could play the Ancient Warriors Link monster if you wanted to do that. And that's pretty much it for the deck profile. To show you guys how some of the combos go in this deck, just to give you guys an idea of what you got going on. If you open with your Turquoise Warbler, and if you open with your Cobalt Sparrow, there's just so many just crazy things to do, and it's easy to search these guys out because legitimately you're getting a shit ton of searches anyway. But if you open up these, you can special summon your Turquoise Warbler. Turquoise Warbler will special summon your Cobalt Sparrow. What's going to happen is Cobalt Sparrow's effect, she's going to go ahead and add you a Winged Beast monster. So it really doesn't matter what you search here. But for video purposes, we're going to search for Sapphire Swallow. And the reason why I said it doesn't matter is because when you overlay these two to go into your Recital Starling, you want to usually summon this card in attack position. And the reason why is because if your opponent is crazy enough to swing into this, you have a combo set up so they're going to take the damage anyway. But you're going to use her ability and target a monster on the field. It's going to gain attack points. It basically gains 600 because that monster gains 300 for each material. And then you can detach one to search. So in this case, you want to detach the Cobalt Sparrow because it actually has a graveyard effect. Searching for your Celestine Wagtail. So now you've got in hand Sapphire Swallow and Celestine Wagtail. You can go ahead and use the effect of Sapphire Swallow because you control Recital Starling, special summon, and then she special summons Celestine Wagtail at the same chain. In the new chain, Celestine Wagtail will go ahead and search for a Lyrillusc spell or trap. So you can either get Bird Call or Bird Sanctuary. If you're going first, you definitely want to search out the Bird Call though. From here, you're going to overlay these two to go into another Recital Starling. Recital Starling will target itself, give the attack points, and then you're going to detach the Celestine Wagtail, and you're going to search for another level 1 monster. So in this case, you can get your, as soon as I find it, your Barrel Canary, or you can search for your Nerval. If you play the Barrier Statue in the build, I'm not main decking the Barrier Statue, but if you're playing the Barrier Statue in your build, then it was generally more advantageous to search out the Nerval, because during the end phase you're going to special summon the Barrier Statue from the deck. But in this particular case, I'm not playing it in this particular build of the deck, but you can easily just side it in or side it out. I'm playing more of a go first, go second kind of build. So right now, I'm not playing that card because it doesn't really give you a lot of value going second, like how the deck naturally already does on its own without that. So what we're going to do from here is we're actually going to use the effect of our Barrel Canary. We're going to go ahead and special summon her, and we're going to special summon our Cobalt Sparrow from the graveyard in defense. Actually, before you go into doing that, you're going to take both of your Recital Starlings, and this will send these to grave, and you're going to actually make your Utopia Future. I apologize, guys, but you're going to do this first, and the reason why is because now that puts your Sapphire Swallow in the graveyard, so you have more stuff you can do. So now you're going to go ahead and trigger off that Barrel Canary, special summoning it, and special summoning your Sapphire Swallow. And yeah, now we're good. So now you're going to take these two and you're going to overlay them into your Assemblu Robin if you're going first, which that's the whole reason why you make this board anyway. And then what's going to happen now is your monster, the Sapphire Swallow, is going to trigger, and it's going to go ahead and take your Cobalt Sparrow and attach it to the Assemblu Robin as disease material. And then you can use the graveyard effect of your Celestine Wagtail to attach to Assemblu Robin as well. So now your Assemblu Robin is going to have 4 materials, so it'll have 4 bounces, and you have a monster negate. And that's just off of 2 cards. And you'd still have 4 other cards in your hand because you'd have the Bird Call plus 3 random other cards. So this is just one instance of, you know, how this deck functions. And the combos can just keep going on. I actually have a lot of different you know, avenues of approaches that I can explain with this deck, but we'll do a quick random test hand. I'm not going to go super in depth with it, but I'm just going to kind of just show you guys what the nature of this deck and how it works. But something else to consider, guys, is while you're playing this deck, it is very fun, it's very exciting. You can definitely play this deck in such a way that you are going to be pressuring your opponent, because going second, and we're going to go ahead and make this hand a going first hand, but you can definitely keep just applying pressure to your opponent. And with the way this deck works, you just got so many different things you can do. But okay, cool. So we just did our cut. Our first card is Ikatak, second card is DD Crow, third card is Roth Darrow, fourth card Cobalt Sparrow, and the fifth card is Sapphire Swallow. So this is what we got, what we're working with going first. So we're going to actually, this is terrible, but you're going to normal summon your DD Crow, which, okay, you kind of have to do that because you've got, this hand is actually pretty cracked now that I'm thinking about it, but we're going to normal summon your DD Crow. If you wanted to, you could also normal summon Cobalt Sparrow and hold the DD Crow, but the reason I'm normal summoning DD Crow is so that I can hold the Cobalt Sparrow for later. But we're going to go ahead and special summon Sapphire Swallow and special summon Cobalt Sparrow. And then we're going to go ahead and get the search off of Cobalt Sparrow. And we're going to go ahead and grab this copy of, so that finds Turquoise Warbler. All right. From here, we're going to overlay our two. Yep, that's fine. We're going to overlay our two girls. Go into Recital Starling. Recital Starling's effect, target DD Crow, doesn't matter. You're going to go ahead and detach the Sapphire Swallow to search for this copy of Barrel Canary. Yep, that's fine. Oh, actually, I used the wear off now. Sorry, I forgot to send it to the graveyard. All right, so we're going to go ahead and search for our copy of Barrel Canary here. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and trigger this copy of Barrel Canary. Special summoning back the Sapphire Swallow. Special summoning Hearts of the Field. And then you're going to overlay these two. For another copy of Recital Starling, targeting DD Crow again. And then you're going to go ahead and detach the Sapphire Swallow again to get another search. So from here, we're going to go ahead and get Celestine Wagtail. All right, we are locked into Xyz monsters here, but that is completely fine. Because from here, we actually can go ahead and make our Utopic F0 play. So you got your F0, and then you got your Utopic Draco feature. And then you can go ahead and actually just set this Ick attack down. And that would be what your first turn board would look like. So you'd have the one monster negate, and then you'd have the pop 2. And it doesn't seem that strong at first, but when you look at the residual value that you're going to get from the later turns, you're going to see that you actually have a lot of just different avenues you can go through. So you do have the Ick attack to tribute the DD Crow, so you do get a free pop 2. But, you know, when they clear your board, because, you know, Utopic Draco feature, he's not like the perfect card, but he can't be destroyed by a battle or card effect. So when your opponent clears this off the board, assuming that they get that far, and then you go for your next turn, you do have your Turquoise Warbler here. So you're going to special summon her, and then you have a couple of different options, but you're going to actually special summon your Cobalt Sparrow from your graveyard. Cobalt Sparrow's effect is actually going to search out your copy of Sapphire Swallow. And then what's going to happen is you're going to special summon your Sapphire Swallow, and you're going to special summon your Celestine Wagtail. We're going to just place it right here so you guys can see. Celestine Wagtail's effect is going to go off, and in this case, you want to go ahead and get that Bird Sanctuary, because you're going to be going for the OTK here. Oh yeah, this card is an unknown. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is you can go ahead and activate this copy of Bird Sanctuary. So from here, some beautiful things you can do. We're going to check our graveyard first. All right. So what you can do from here is you can actually take this copy of Celestine Wagtail and Sapphire Swallow. I'm thinking. But before you do that, you're actually going to take Cobalt Sparrow and Turquoise Warbler, and you're going to go ahead and make this copy of Assembled Nightingale. And then You're actually going to go ahead and take Celestine Wagtail and Sapphire Swallow and make your third and final copy of Recital Starling. And then what's going to happen here is your Sapphire Swallow is going to trigger, and the Recital Starling is also going to trigger. So chainlink 1 Recital Starling to target your assembled Nightingale to give it attack points. And then chainlink 2 Sapphire Swallow to attach from Grave. So you're actually going to go ahead and attach your Barrel Canary. And then you're going to target your assembled Nightingale, and she's going to gain 900 attack points, guys, which is insane. So right now, this card is going to be at 369, 900 plus 400 is 13. So she's at 1300. Burnt Sanctuary is going to trigger because I have a monster with at least 3 materials to draw 1. Boom. And then we can use Recital Starling's effect to detach Celestine Wagtail to search for any level 1 winged beast. So we'd be searching out this copy of Tri-Brigade Nerval. If you wanted to get Nerval. But I mean, you could definitely go ahead and go for him. You'd only really just have him mainly for follow-up anyway. But from here, Celestine Wagtail can just attach to the assembled Nightingale. Because that's its effect from the grave, and then you can use Bird Sanctuary to target the assembled Nightingale and attach itself and all of its materials. So now this card was 900 plus 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it's 21, and she can just attack your opponent for 21 for 6 times, and so that is definitely game. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and staying to the end of this video. If you stay till the end, if you like the content, or if you see a better way to do the combo, please let me know in the comments. I literally just did that off the cuff, so that is how in that instance I would have played the deck. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So we've got more videos coming in the future. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys want to definitely get into our video dueling community. And the No Continues Gaming channel, always remember, continue to beat, play, and survive. Just do it with no continues. This is Edgemaster X signing off. Peace.